Osbc News in separate interviews made his call against the backdrop of the return of terrorists and bandits in some parts of the country. Omotayo Adebodun now completes the story.
Nigerians have been battling insecurities from terrorists, bandits, kidnappers and herdsmen, among others, which for a while now seems to have reduced. Some believe the men of the underworld put a hold on their murderous activities with the unavailability of cash to pay for the ransoms. The activities of bandits and terrorists also reduced drastically during the general election as the country employed all our military and internal security prowess to ensure that the election were not disrupted. The opposite, however, seems to be the case as kidnappers, bandits and terrorists are gradually finding their ways back into people's life again, raising fears among Nigerians as they demand that government must act. Speaking with Osbc News, Comrade Wahid Lawal stated that the in some of the states in the country, adding that government at all levels should find a lasting solution and give their citizens a sane environment.
It is the duty of government to provide security for the life and property of its citizens and the welfare of the people. Any government that fails to provide security to life and property of their citizens is no more government. So the government should be alive to their responsibility.
Speaking in the same vein, an analyst, Dr. Soji Akinpelu, opined that for there to be a reoccurrence, there is a political undertone and the government must take a stand on the issue of new currency, which is presently not enough.
Government should make sure that every state has its own police. They should, entrench it in the constitution. They should, restructure the federal government police. Let states have their own police. Most of the police in different states, we know the terrains.
They as well charged people to be vigilant as well as report any suspicious moves in their environment to the law enforcement agencies close to them. Omotayo Adebodun for Osbc News.
Nigeria has been nominated by African Union to lead Africa on the Bureau of the United Nations Open-Ended Working Group on Aging. The nomination was effected during the 13th session of the UN Open-Ended Working Group on Aging ongoing in New York, according to a statement signed by the head of Corporate Affairs and Media, Obini Ode. The nomination was due to Nigeria's authenticity and consistency in leading the charge at the United Nations on concrete ways to realize the global mechanism for strengthening the protection of human rights of older persons. Mr. Ode added that it was also a result of Nigeria's current local records of concrete policy action and legislative efforts to accelerate inclusion of older persons. He stated that by the nomination, the country will become the sought after and needful leader in prioritizing the human rights of older persons. Now welcome to our sports segment. Let's now join Omotayo Adebodun for sport reports.
The World Cup, which features England and the Republic of Ireland, starts on the 20th of July with the final on the 20th of August, as well as targeting 1.5 million ticket sales. Organizers predict the month-long tournament will attract a global television audience of 2 billion viewers. FIFA hope more than 100,000 fans will attend the event's opening day overall, when New Zealand plays 1995 winner Norway at the 50,000 capacity Eden Park in Auckland, and Australia face the Republic of Ireland at the 83,500 capacity stadium Australia in Sydney. Australia's opening match was originally due to be played at Sydney Football Stadium, which holds 45,500 people, but has been moved to a bigger venue to meet the demands for tickets. The last phase of ticket sales has just started for what promises to be another big milestone in women's football. During the build-up to the 2019 Women's World Cup in France, FIFA said a record 720,000 tickets had been sold with 50 days to go. In the meantime, Dean Smith has been named named Leicester City's boss until the end of the season. Smith, who is 52 years, left Norwich early this season after a previous spell at Aston Villa and Brentford. Leicester are in huge trouble in the relegation zone following Saturday's home defeat by Bournemouth, 2 points from safety with 8 games left. Smith's first game in charge of Leicester is away to Premier League champions Manchester City on Saturday. Craig Shakespeare returns to Kings Power Stadium as Smith's assistant manager. Smith's coaching lineup also includes former England captain John Terry, who served under him at Aston Villa, along with club's current first-team coach Adam Sadler and Mike Stowell. There has been a record 13 managerial changes in the Premier League this season, 3 more than in any previous campaign, with 11 of those being sackings. Motayo Adebodun for Osbc News.
Kenyan presidency has said the country will not default on its debt repayment obligation as civil service salaries were delayed due to a cash squeeze caused by enormous interest repayments. Details of this and others are packaged by Abdul Adebisi of our foreign desk.
Funded by a weakening local currency and international market turmoil precipitated by a banking crisis has led to the speculation that Kenya could soon default like Zambia and Ghana. The presidency stated that default is a very bad idea since it would force the government to spend the next 3 to 4 years in the very protracted debt restructuring negotiations, saying that the annual interest payment on domestic debt alone have surged from 180 billion cedis nearly a decade ago, when the debt being started, to 680 billion shillings this year. One of Russia's most active volcanoes has erupted on the far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula, spewing ash flying into the sky, smothering villages in drift of grey volcanic dust and triggering an aviation warning. The governor of Kamchatka, Vladimir Solodov, said 3 villages, Kozirek and Meshoke, were the worst affected, urging people there to stay at home, and said schools had been closed. According to Kamchatka branch of the Geophysical Survey of the Russia Academy of Sciences, stated that the Shivlok volcano erupted, reaching a crescendo. The eruption posed a potential risk to flight and paralyzed several villages. Volcanologists issued a code red warning for meteorological information. Abdul Jalil Adebisi, Osbc News.
And the major report here again at the main points. The International Monetary Fund has retained Nigeria 3.2% economic growth projection 2023. Governor Ademola Adeleke says he will roll out quarterly town hall meeting called Ipade Mole. From the foreign scene, debt burden has weakened the Kenyan local currency. That ends the major report on Osbc TV. It was edited by Michael Adeniyi. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Thank you for watching. Good night.